Hello, welcome to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. I'm your host, Dr. James J.C. Cooley, and wow, we got another absolutely outstanding show coming your way today. We got this guest. I tell you, I talked to his folks a few months back, and we were trying to get him on the show. We finally got that done, and I'm excited about the show today. And he's going to tell us a lot of things. Him and his team travel a lot, especially over in Europe, and unique way of traveling. But I tell you, I want everybody to grab you about 8, 9 bags of popcorn because we're gonna be doing that. How you doing, Michelle?
I'm doing great. I was talking to this guest before we became live, and he's got a great story to tell. It's about perseverance. It's about, not letting anything stop you despite your situation or circumstance. So excited to have him on the show.
And that's important because a lot of people, get in a certain situation, circumstance, and they want to throw their hands up and say, "I quit." Uh, no, we ain't quit. Never, 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 never. So I tell you, how you doing, Todd? I just left California yesterday. How you doing, man?
I'm always good. So you're back in Texas now?
Back in Texas, man. Got back
yesterday. Some of the Texas barbecue.
Oh man, you know what, Todd? Funny you mentioned that. I just went and got me some a few minutes ago, right before the show, and I'm gonna eat that for dinner.
There you go. Well, hey, we're gonna lock everybody in right now. You ready to go?
Let's do it.
Here we go.
It's sponsored by James J.C. Cooley.
Dr. James J.C. Cooley.
Hello. Welcome to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. I'm your host, Dr. James J.C. Cooley, and I tell you, we got an absolutely fantastic show coming your way today. And wherever you watching us, whether you're watching us on E36 Television, Transfer TV, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, or over 6 to 8 other live platforms, welcome to the show. And if you want to be part of the show today, which we're going to introduce in a few minutes, if you want to be part of the show, whichever platform that you are watching us on, all you have to do is just go to the comments, ask any questions that you might have. And I promise you, we'll get you an answer. Or if you listen to us on the radio, was it KCBQ, FM 96.1, AM 1170, the answer out of San Diego, or Spotify, or iHeartRadio, or other live platforms, just pick up that phone dial 1-888-344-1170. Again, that's 1-888-344-1170. Michelle, I'm excited about this guest today. I'm excited about the show. And we finally got him on. So I'm excited.
Oh, I'm excited too. And he's got a story to tell, and he's going to motivate our audience. So looking forward to hearing his story.
I'm looking forward to hearing the story as well. Michelle, can you do the honors by introducing the title of the show, the purpose of the show, and introduce this absolutely fantastic guest that we have?
Yes. Well, the title of today's show is called We Carry Kevan. And we're having a sit-down conversation with Kevan Chandler. He's a writer, speaker, author, and the founder of the nonprofit organization We Carry Kevan. He's going to talk about redefining accessibility, his trip across Europe. He has a book called We Are Kevan, and also going to discuss the services provided by his nonprofit organization. Kevan Chandler, he grew up in the foothills of North Carolina and is diagnosed with a rare neuromuscular disease called spinal muscular atrophy. In 2016, he and his friends took a trip across Europe, leaving his wheelchair at home, and his friends carried him for 3 weeks in a backpack. An avid storyteller, he's a writer and speaker worldwide about his friendships and unique life with a disability, being a featured speaker for TEDx and Google, as well as various conferences, pharmaceutical companies, and university. Kevan has a Bachelor of Arts degree in counseling from John Wesley College and also founder of the nonprofit We Carry Kevan. He and his wife, Katie, live in Fort Wayne, Indiana, where they enjoy growing vegetables and reading to each other. So please welcome on the show, Mr. Kevan Chandler.
Hey, thanks for
Hi, Kevan.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
Quite the reception.
How you doing, Kevan? How you doing, my friend?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Man, we're doing just fine, man. It's a little rainy down in Texas right now, but we're doing just fine. And I think you guys are in Indiana.
We are. We are. It is equally rainy here. So the sun's shining somewhere.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Hey, Kevin, can you tell our viewers and our listeners a little bit more about you, where you grew up, or what made you click, why you're so passionate about the things that you do?
Hmm. Yeah. I was born in Florida, grew up in North Carolina, and live in Indiana now. So at that rate, I'll go all the way over the globe and end up back in Florida at some point. But I grew up in a home with disability. I have spinal muscular atrophy, as Michelle said, and my older sister does as well. She also has SMA, and we grew up in a home where we had an open door policy. We had people coming in and out of our house all the time, and being a part of our unique and different kind of life of figuring things out with disability. And my parents also helped us to be out in the world, be part of Sunday school and youth group and school and field trips and missions trips and all that good stuff. And played t-ball and soccer and everything. And so um, we just really lived a life of creativity and thinking outside the box to live life to the fullest. And so as an adult, that kind of came with me, and I really knew how to invite people into my life, into my need, and that has translated into living on my own with roommates who could help take care of me, and also playing in bands, playing music, and getting to write books and tour to speak, and then ultimately uh, making a backpack with a handful of friends, and getting to explore Europe in places where my wheelchair would not otherwise be able to take me.
Wow. I mean, you're doing so many things out there, Kevin. And, if you had all the different things, music, traveling, uh, just doing so many great things. If you had one adjective to describe you as a person, what would that adjective be and why?
Oh man, an adjective to describe myself. I don't know. I think I could come up with an adjective to describe my life,
Your life. Okay,
if
let's
that's
go.
fair. Which I don't know. It's hard to pick one, but I would say it's something around uh, adventure, and something maybe somewhere in between adventure and miracle. Just because, uh, not, I mean, yes, a miracle in the sense of overcoming obstacles and dealing with disability, but really miracle in the sense of getting to experience life as a whole, and the friendships that I have, the family that I have, the marriage that I get to enjoy, and the things that I've gotten to see and do. It's just huge. And on top of all of that, the gift of salvation through Jesus. I mean, is just unbelievable to me. And so I think, yeah, so if you can combine adventure and miracle into one word. I'll let Tommy Shelton decide how those two words go together.
Yeah, yeah. You see, Tommy just said, "Hey, wonderful to tune in to a new show." I tell you, um, you, perseverance and all of these things that and makes you who you are is how have you not allowed your spinal muscular uh, uh, what's going on in your life to find who you are and how you can go and achieve certain things.
Hmm. Well, I think at the end of the day, it goes back to the Lord. It goes back to my identity being in Him. And in Paul's letter to the Romans, he refers to our adoption as sons of God as the redemption of our bodies. And that is huge for me because my body doesn't work that great. And so I'm not, I have a disability. I am, in this body that I have, but that doesn't define who I am. It's not my identifying factor. I am a child of God, and I'm, an heir to His gift of the kingdom, and so that is why I can step out into the world and invite people into my need and say yes to crazy things, because I'm not sitting back saying, well, yeah, but I'm saying yes and.
Yes, and you don't mention this a couple of times, and you are a child of the Most High God, and that's so important to keep God in our lives, regardless of whatever situation or circumstances that we're going through, because I believe He has purpose for us, and He is teaching us, and He is guiding us, and we all bring joy to other people's lives, I believe, just by understanding that we are a vessel through God. You know what, Kev, we're going to take a station break. We're going to take a station break, but we're going to come back. We're going to pick it up. We're going to talk more.
Sounds good.
We got so much stuff to chat with you about. So I tell you what, whichever platform that you're watching us on, if you want to be part of this great conversation with Kevin, all you have to do is just go to the platform, the comments on the platform, ask any question that you might have. Promise you we'll get you an answer. Or you can pick up the phone and dial 1-888-344-1170. Again, that's 1-888-344-1170. Is your life. And we'll be back shortly after the break.
There's more stories of greatness to help you overcome adversity coming up on It's Your Life with James Cooley.
A black man. The James Cooley Show. It's your life. That's right.
Really get a chance to know who you are. And once you know who you are, you truly know who you are, love who you are. Love who you are. You're a masterpiece. Love who you are. Love who you were born to be. Love me some me. That's what I'm talking about. When you leave high school, you gotta know today or tomorrow, hopefully today, what your plans are. Hopefully, there is no bad decision unless there is no plan. Create, collaborate, commit with confidence. Commit with what? Commit with what? And everything that you do.
Journey That Ain't Over Yet by James J.C. Cooley, available on Amazon and everywhere books are sold.
It's the James Cooley Show. It's
Hello,
your
welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and I tell you what, I'm enjoying this interview that we're having with Kevan, and I tell you, just segment number one is always getting to know our guests, and as you see, and as you listen, and as you're watching, this is an absolutely fantastic guest, and now we're getting ready to go deep into some of the things that he's doing in his life, and I tell you what. If you want to be part of the conversation, join us. Go to the platform that you're watching us on, comments, asking the question that you might have. Well, pick up the phone and dial 1-888-344-1170. Again, that's 1-888-344-1170. Todd and our KCBQ studios, FM 96.1, AM 1170. The answer will put you through. So I'm gonna turn it over to Michelle. How you doing, Michelle?
I'm doing good, Kevan. So tell us about Europe and how this all came about. And what was your first reaction when this was suggested to you? So kind of tell the audience about the backstory on your trip to Europe, and then we'll dive a little bit more into that.
Yeah, so the backstory, the short version of the backstory, you can read the whole version in a book that's out, but the short version is I mentioned that I was part of music and potlucks and everything, and I had a bunch of friends involved in that. And part of that was that not everywhere that we went was wheelchair accessible. And so I got pretty used to, leaving my wheelchair in the van or in a stairwell and my friends carrying me up to an apartment or a venue, wherever we were. And so one day, one of the guys, his name is Tom, not the Tom that's been commenting here, but a different Tom, he and I were driving somewhere, and I said, hey, what if we spent a weekend outside of my wheelchair, more intentionally, see what we could do? And he said, well, we're not going to sit around playing video games. So how about we explore the sewers in our hometown? And we grew up on Ninja Turtles and Batman and stuff. And so I thought that sounded like a great idea. And so he suggested that. And we got a couple of guys together one night on a Friday night and made a very rough version of the backpack that it did not last but just a couple hours, but that's all it needed to last. And we went down into the sewers. We found a creek and a tunnel and got in and climbed around and had a fun adventure together. And coming out of that, the question arose of, well, we survived that. What else can we do? And a few months later, I went to these guys and some of the same guys and said, hey, what if we do that same thing but above ground for 3 weeks in Europe? And they said yes. And so we did a fundraiser, and at the same time we worked on building a more secure backpack. We worked with a company called Deuter out of Germany. They had a child carrier that we thought was a good starting point, and we kind of took it apart and put it back together the way we needed it to be done. We worked with them on that, which was really great. And in June of 2016, we got on an airplane in Atlanta, left my wheelchair at the airport, and flew out to France to start our 3-week escapades around Europe.
Oh my gosh. Well, how many of your friends went with you?
So there were 7 of us total. There were 4 guys that took turns carrying me, and then 2 guys that filmed the whole experience, because that was one of the first decisions that was made was, well, if we're going to do something this crazy, we need proof that we did it. And so our friends Luke and Jameson came with us film the whole thing. And the four guys, Tom, Ben, Philip, and Robbie, they took turns carrying me throughout those 3 weeks. Each guy got a day off in that they kind of cycled through. So we always had three guys that were taking turns carrying and helping.
Wow. Was it what you imagined it would be when you came up with the idea, or was it much more?
Oh, I had no idea what to expect, honestly. I really didn't. I mean, I remember, all the way back to seventh and eighth grade, sitting in class, daydreaming about going to England or Ireland and walking the streets and hiking the countryside and just figuring, well, I'll just have to settle for what I see in my head or what I read about or watching movies. But really, going there, I just kind of set all of that aside. And by that point, I had used the backpack some as we were training and preparing for the trip. And so I knew even walking around my hometown or a college town nearby, like places that I knew really well, it was a whole different perspective being on my friends' shoulders and seeing the world from this new vantage point. And so going into Europe, I just kind of dismissed any preconceived ideas I had and said, you know what, I'm just gonna live this thing out moment by moment and experience it anew and fresh.
Wow, I've always wanted to go to Europe. Maybe one day I will.
Yeah.
But what was your most memorable moment? I know it's 3 weeks. I'm sure there were plenty, but which one stands out to you, at least right now in your head, regarding your trek across Europe?
Yeah, we had a lot of big high flying moments. We got lost in Paris and we got to join, dance parties on summer solstice and hiked through the English countryside and climbed a monastery on an island off the coast of Ireland at the end of the trip that was really epic. And so we had all these big moments. But honestly, when you asked my favorite moment, the one that comes to mind immediately and visually, I can just kind of put myself right back there, was our transition from England to Ireland. We stopped overnight in Wales, just where the train ended and the boat began. We had to stop for the night, and we had just come out of this kind of crazy part of the trip, and the Euro Cup was going on, and there was a lot of hype around that and everything. So there's just this energy and this buzz throughout the whole continent. And that night in Wales, we went out to eat, and then just as a group of normal dudes, just a group of buddies, we walked down in the middle of the night to the pier, and nobody was around, and there's just like, I don't know, probably 300 boats just bobbing on the water out there, and the moonlight hitting the water, and we just kind of hung out on the pier and enjoyed what we had come through and what we were about to do, and had this kind of quiet moment of brotherhood that was really, I think, very important for the trip. You have these big moments, but you need those quiet, reflective moments as well that are just as much a part of the glue as is the big stuff. So I'm thankful for that, and that's always what comes to mind for me first.
Wow. I mean, you were friends already, but when you took that trip across Europe for 3 weeks, how, in your opinion, did the friendship did you see the friendship in a whole new light and just, I would say, cherish, wow, these are my friends? I mean, how did you feel about the closeness that increased during this trip?
Yeah. I mean, grateful. You know, like you said, we were friends before the trip, and we had great memories and everything together. One of the guys was actually pretty new to the friend group. We met him as we were preparing for the trip, and he said, "Hey, here are my credentials, and I'd like to come along just to be helpful." And so I loved adding him to the group. He brought a lot to it. But the other guys I had known for a few years, and we were friends. We were close. And Ben was getting me up in the morning like a couple times a week and everything. But having this experience together, this really concentrated exploration into friendship, I really feel like it did kind of solidify something. It strengthened something. And actually, coming home from the trip, I moved in and was roommates with Ben for 4 years after that. And we just did a lot of life together, went through a lot of things together, and we still do. And the other guys as well, we continue to stay in touch and do projects together. Luke, who filmed the whole experience, has ended up just becoming one of my dearest friends, and has ended up chronicling a lot of my life just because he happened to be there, and he always has a camera with him. And so, you know, and I'm just, I think what came out of that trip, out of that experience, was a better understanding for all of us in what friendship means and what caring for one another can look like, and also just the potential that is out there if we care for one another. Something that I really learned on the trip, I may have known before, but I saw it more clearly, Michelle, was that when my needs were taken care of, I got to not worry about myself and worry about self-advocacy or self-care. It was my attention could be turned on these guys, and I could care for them. I could ask how they're doing, and I mean, I'm on their shoulder. I'm right by their ear. I got to have a lot of conversations with them. You know, I don't want to say the word counselor, but as kind of a confidant that I could say, "Hey, how are you doing today, really?" And really slow down and be present with them. And so all of that was only possible. I could only care for their hearts because my own personal needs were being cared for.
And Kevan, we're going to talk a little bit more about that, especially, motivating and your speaking about not only your experience, about, accessibility and just going out there doing what you need to do despite your circumstances. We're going to talk a little bit more of that after break. What do you think, James?
Yeah, this is interesting. We're going to talk a lot more about that after the break, but we got to take a station break, and we're going to come back and I tell you what, get more off into this great discussion with Kevan. And I tell you what, if you want to be part of the conversation, just pick up the phone and dial 1-888-344-1170. Again, that's 1-888-344-1170. It's your life, and we'll see you shortly after the break.
There's more stories of greatness to help you overcome adversity coming up on It's Your Life with James Cooley.
Craving a slice of Chicago right here in Temecula wine country? Then dive into legendary Chicago deep dish style pizza at Rosati's Pizza Pub. Piled high with gooey cheese, rich tomato sauce, and your favorite toppings, Rosati's delivers the taste of the Windy City right to your table or front door. Enjoy the cozy pub atmosphere and an impressive selection of Temecula wines. Come on down to Rosati's Pizza Pub for your slice of Chicago right here on Rancho California Road, or order online at myrosatis.com. Rosati's, where Chicago deep dish pizza meets Temecula charm.
Noah Dingley here, producer of The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life. And the new audio version of James' book, Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet, is a must-have. James shares his true life story of struggle and success in America. It's both a cautionary tale and a roadmap to achieving the American dream. Get the new audio version of Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by James Cooley on Amazon.com or wherever audiobooks are sold.
new
Dr. James JC Cooley. The James Cooley Show. It's your life.
Welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life.
to become a victim of life's circumstance and dare to become an overcomer because a bigger, better, and more impactful life awaits you. Get the new audio version of his book, Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by Dr. James Cooley on Amazon or wherever books are sold.
Let's go. It's the James Cooley Show. It's your
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and I tell you what, just really enjoying this conversation that Kevin and I are having. And Kevin, I commend you, brother. I mean, Europe, that's a dream of mine, to be able to travel over there. How many different places did you guys go in Europe?
So we went to France, England, and Ireland with a quick stopover, like I said, in Wales. But we spent about a week in each of those three countries.
Which one did you like the best?
Oh man, I don't know. I've been back to Ireland and a quick stopover in England as well. So, but I've spent probably the most time in Ireland since then. So that might be my favorite. I don't know. We'll see. Time will tell.
Time will tell. So Kevin, how has traveling with a unique set of physical needs shape your perspective on accessibility and inclusivity in the different countries and not just that, but also in the United States and the things that you do?
Yeah, well, we went to Europe, but I've also been to China and Australia and different parts of Canada and all over the U.S. And what I've experienced is, sometimes I take my backpack and accessibility isn't really a thing to consider. It's not really a question, and so that's a whole different experience. But then sometimes I've gone back to the same places with my wheelchair and realized, oh, I didn't realize that there's a step here or there's a gap, into the subway car or different things like that. And I've found cities and parks and countrysides that are very accessible and some that are not. But what I appreciate most in either of those situations is that there are just some places that are historical, that are really beautiful and natural, and we don't want to tear those up and add an elevator or a ramp or different things like that. And so something that I've learned and tried to live out is, rather than changing the landscape or changing the even the infrastructure, maybe part of it is changing my own situation. And so something like the backpack, or I know there are other really cool devices and pieces of equipment that people have come up with that do the same, reach the same goal, which is, I want to get to this place, but my wheelchair won't go. How do I do it? Oh, I can create this thing or use this thing. And so, and what I've found also on top of that is that, for example, the backpack is a really great tool, but it's not really useful at all by itself. I have to have my friends, I have to have my family incorporated into that. If you sit me in the backpack, but you don't put it on your back, it's, it's like sitting me on a rock, it's not going to do anything. And so my kind of mantra in life is that accessibility comes from relationship and cultivating this this creativity and collaboration with others. And that takes a lot of courage. That takes a lot of saying yes to crazy things. But if you say yes uh, alongside other people, some really beautiful things can happen.
Wow. So hey, Kev, so I'm sure you were inspiring a lot of folks that are watching the show today. Now, what advice would you give to others with physical limitation who are inspired by just watching you and listening to you today, inspired by your journey, and wish to embark on their own adventures?
Mm. Yeah, well, I would say to look at what's around you and start there. I used to when I lived downtown in Indiana. I live in a suburb now, but when I lived downtown, I uh, ventured out every day down the sidewalk to a coffee shop, and I think it's the small decisions of, hey, I'm gonna uh, step off my front porch and cross the street or go down the street to this other place. Hey, I'm gonna uh, reach out and say hi to this person. I'm going to I need help with this thing. I'm going to invite people into it. I need help raking my leaves, or need help moving a couch, whatever it may be. I'm going to ask someone to help with that. Starting with these small decisions is really key, because the small decisions are actually the same decisions as the big ones. It takes the same part of you to cross your street as it does to cross an ocean to another country or another continent. It's just, uh, you know, bigger. And so starting with those small things and working your way up. Um, I've had people ask me, how did you move out of your parents' house, for example? And I say, well, I uh, lived at home in college for the first 2 years, and then I moved in to the dorms, which was like 30 minutes from my parents' house, and then I could go home if I needed to. They could come to me. I moved a little further away, and then I moved to Indiana, which was like 10 hours, but that was a big jump. But it wasn't just one day waking up and saying I'm going to move across half the country. I said, well, I'm going to try this out. I'm going to kind of do baby steps here and see what happens, and then just trust the Lord with that. And I think a big key part of that is expressing your trust in the Lord by inviting people into your situation. Um, and I asked my mom a couple of years ago, why did you let me do all this crazy stuff? And she said, well, because I know that you and your friends are trusting the Lord, and so I knew it would be okay. You guys are crazy, you do crazy stuff, but at the end of the day, you're all looking to Him, and so it's going to be all right. So inviting the right people in and saying, hey, here's my situation. I want to be vulnerable, and I want to, like I said earlier, care for you while you're caring for me. That reciprocity is really important.
Wow. Yeah, you mentioned it, man. You're inviting the right people in your world, that care for you and that you love you and that you can learn from them, they can learn from you. I
Mm-hmm.
think that is so important in life, and especially to have supportive friends and family and everybody just work together, man, to a common goal. Kevin, we're gonna take a station break, but we're gonna come back because we got a lot more that we're gonna chat about. And I tell you, certainly enjoying this conversation for our viewers out there, viewers and listeners. If you want to be part of the conversation, pick up the phone, dial 1-888-344-1170. Again, that's 1-888-344-1170. My main man, Todd, at KCBQ Studios, FM 96.1, AM 1170, Answer in San Diego will put you through. So I tell you what, It's your life. And we'll be back with a lot more Kevin shortly after the break.
There's more stories of greatness to help you overcome adversity coming up on It's Your Life with James Cooley.
Up.
Dr. James J.C. Cooley from the United States of America, and I am here to just say, first of all, I'm so happy and honored to be on it, to be in the Coffee Book 2023, Unified Brain Z and the other organizations. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to be a part of this collection.
You know, we live in a world today that people don't even care about how people see them. Don't realize that we can affect an entire generation and build our character. But you gotta do it with these 4 C's. Create, collaborate, then you commit with confidence. Create, collaborate, then you commit with confidence. It's the 4 C's. It's the 4 C's. In this life you are gonna grow, but there's things in this world that you gotta know. To be the best that you can be, you wanna grow real big into a strong tree. To be who you were created to be, the one who's gonna leave a legacy is you. But you got to have these 4 C's.
The James Cooley Show. It's your life. That's right.
Your slice of Chicago right here on Rancho California Road, or order online at myrosatis.com. Rosatis, where Chicago deep dish pizza meets Temecula charm.
Yeah. Dr. James.
Hello, and welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and I tell you, I am thoroughly enjoying this discussion with Kevin, and I tell you, hey, Kevin, you the man. You are the man. Hey, Todd, man, come on now, Todd. Give me your thoughts on this great discussion that we're having today.
Yeah, as always, James, you always have such great guests, and Kevin is not an exception. He's just a great guest, and so motivated by his spirit and his outlook on life. I love it. Let's get right back to him.
Let's get right back to, hey, Kevin, I tell you, you mentioned family and friends. You say, hey, they are, especially, I think you mentioned seven folks that travel with you. That's a vital part of what you are doing, you know. And real quickly, because I want to talk about your new book, can you describe an instance where, you know, you was out there and you might have not been feeling well, but they did something to help encourage you? Like, Kevin, no, you're gonna keep going. You're gonna keep doing all of these things that you said you're gonna do. They have an instance where their love and their passion and uplifting kind of lift you up.
Yeah, I mean, the examples are countless, especially on the trip and preparing for the trip when fundraising was slow, or plans that we had to change and shift, or even on the trip in the midst of it, realizing we would have to adjust things. There were moments when I was not feeling it. I was a little lower on the cheering squad than normal. But the great thing about friendship, real friendship, is that you don't have to be that person the whole time. You don't have to be the one convincing everyone else. Maybe you present the idea or get people excited, but then others can pick up where you fall off, and so I got to experience that throughout the trip. Maybe maybe the biggest moment of that was that at one point we were in a minor car accident in Ireland. The highways did not work the way that we thought they should, the toll booths and stuff. And I ended up falling forward in the van and breaking my nose and messing up my foot pretty bad. And so, of course, we pulled off, and the guys got me out of the van and set me on the ground and in the backpack, and they were patching me up and putting ice on my face and all that stuff. And I remember sitting there on the ground, and these guys are all around me, and I just was praying quietly, just saying, like, God, I thought that you wanted me to do this, and I thought you wanted me to show the world that this was possible. And I very, very clearly heard him say, well, I said that it was possible. I didn't say it would be painless, and that's a whole nother conversation, isn't it? That's just the testimony of life, right? But then I said, I just wish that I had someone in my corner. I wish that I wasn't alone in this pain. And again, I felt like the Lord said, Kevin, open your eyes. You have all these guys around you. And I did. I opened my eyes, and I actually asked them I said, Tom, can you put your hand on my arm? Ben, can you put your hand on my shoulder? I asked these guys to all put a hand on me so that I could feel their presence. I could really, really know that they were there. And felt like the Lord was saying, look at all the guys I've put in your corner, and they are carrying you through. And there was even a moment in that I thought, well, this is the end of the trip. We just got to Ireland. We've got a whole nother week. We're going to go to Skellig Michael, this great island off the coast. It's legendary. It's going to be awesome. But I guess we're done. I guess this is the end. And that was not on these guys' minds. That did not cross their minds. And so in that moment of weakness for me, they were the ones, carrying me, not just physically, but emotionally as well.
Wow. Hey, Kevin, let's talk about your book. We got about 4.5 minutes left.
Sure.
So can you, first of all, your book is titled We Are Kevan. Can you tell our viewers and our listeners what your book is about, what they expect to get out of this, and how that's going to uplift them?
Yeah. So I guess technically there's 2 books by the same title. So after our trip to Europe, I wrote and had published a book called We Carry Kevan, and it chronicles our adventure through Europe, and I guess you would say it's a memoir. And a couple years in, we started this nonprofit because we had a lot of families with disabilities all over the world asking, where did you get this backpack, and where did you get these friends? So we started We Carry Kevan. I wrote the book We Carry Kevan, and a couple of years in, I realized that so many of the people that were carrying their loved ones in the backpack were enjoying the book, but so many people that were actually in the backpack were young kids, and so they weren't old enough to crack open this big volume and read this whole story. And so I wanted to write a children's book version of that story. And so yeah, we just recently released this children's picture book, also called We Carry Kevan, and it's available on our website and on Amazon. Our website is wecarrykevan.org, and you can get one or both books in a bundle. But it's a picture book about friendship. It covers the story of us going to Europe, but more from the perspective of that I had these concerns of what if we fall, what if we go somewhere I don't want to go? What if I get hurt? What if we fall off a cliff? All these crazy ideas of what could go wrong. And at the turn of every page, one of the guys will say, "Trust me, Kevan," and so my character does, Kevan, and Kevan did, and you get to see the beautiful outcome that can happen when we trust people and when in turn we are trustworthy. So it's really just a story of friendship and caring for one another.
Story of friendship. Hey, Kevin, we got about less than 2 minutes to go on the show. Can you tell people a little bit about your nonprofit and how they can contribute to your nonprofit?
Sure. Yeah, well, as I mentioned, people started reaching out and saying, "Where'd you get this backpack? Where did you get these friends?" And so we started We Carry Kevan as a nonprofit to answer those two questions primarily. And so to answer the first one, we went back to Deuter and said, "Hey, can you help us make a professional factory version of this backpack?" We're actually on version 2.0 based on families' feedback from all over the world. And we now have about 1,200 backpacks in 48 countries. And that's 1,200 families that are thinking outside the box about disability and accessibility and community. And so that's the other aspect, is everyone that reaches out about a backpack, we stay in touch with, we build friendship with. And if someone wants a backpack, we can set up a fundraiser for them on our website. If you go to wecarrykevan.org and check out the Give tab, there's opportunities to join our team in a monthly gift, and also to give to a cause. To give.
Wow, Kevin, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show. I'd like to thank Michelle for putting together another fantastic show. I'd like to thank my studios in California, KCBQ AM 1170 Answer, AM 1170. Most importantly, I'd like to thank our viewers and our listeners for tuning into the James Cooley Show Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Always dream big, think big, and be big. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place.
Have you been considering refinancing your home? USAFC Realty has been helping San Diego homeowners with creative